Thank you. Now let's move on to consent item number 8, which is Solitude, and it looks like staff is ready to go. So I'll hand you the floor.
Great, thank you. Good evening, Vice Mayor Whitehead and council members. I'm Mayor Tessier with the Planning Department, and the case before you is 17 ZN 2019 and 10 AB 2019 Solitude. Next slide, please. The subject site is located at the southwest corner of East Happy Valley Road and North 92nd Street, as highlighted in yellow. Next slide, please. Before you is a close-up aerial of the subject 20-acre site, which is surrounded by residential development to the north, west, and south, as well as a place of worship and residential to the east. Next slide, please. As part of the proposal for development of the site, the applicant is requesting to abandon 20 feet of right-of-way along East Whispering Wind Drive as depicted in yellow. Next slide, please. The applicant's request conforms to the 2001 general plan description of rural neighborhoods, which allows 1 dwelling unit per acre, and the applicant is proposing 17 lots, which equates to less than 1 dwelling unit per acre. Next slide, please. The applicant is requesting a zoning district map amendment from single-family residential environmental sensitive lands Hillside District R1190 ESL HD. Next slide. To single-family residential environmental sensitive lands R143 ESL. Next slide, please. The development proposal includes a request to rezone the property for a new 17-lot single-family residential subdivision. Access to the site is provided from an existing gated entry along East Happy Valley Road, and the developer has agreed to construct and dedicate right-of-way along the west half of North 92nd Street, as well as dedicate a public non-motorized access easement along North Happy Valley Road to accommodate a sidewalk. Next slide, please. Before you is the NAOS exhibit, where the site plan is designed to protect major washes that bisect the site within drainage and natural area open space easements. Next slide, please. Some of the key items of consideration for this case are the density conforms to the 2001 general plan. The applicant is dedicating a buffer setback along East Happy Valley Road and excess NAOS. Access to the site is not impeded impacted by the abandonments. And lastly, Planning Commission heard this case and recommended approval. That concludes staff's presentation, and I believe John Barry has also prepared a presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith. John?
Vice Mayor Whitehead, members of the council, for your record, John Barry, 6750 East Camelback Road in Scottsdale. Staff gave a very thorough presentation, and given the fact this is on consent agenda, I will be mercifully brief. In terms of the site plan, just a little bit of additional background on it. This is actually phase 2. You'll see off to the left there of Solitude phase 1. Now this is a mirror image of phase 1. Phase 2 was, as you can see, is 17 single-family luxury homes with an average price of about $3.3 million. Now phase 1 of this project was approved back in August of 2018 unanimously by this council, except for Vice Mayor Whitehead, who was not on the council at that time. You will note on the right side of your screen, the red, which is the existing church. Happy Valley Road is finally being widened to 4 lanes. These will all be one-story homes, and as staff pointed out, we are not getting close to the general plan, which will allow 20 homes on this property. We are only doing 17. Let me just go to the conclusion, which is the developer of this property is Sonora West Development, which is owned by a lifetime Scottsdale resident, Scott Pfeiffer. They do luxury home and custom homes. Conforms to the general plan. In fact, it's 15% less dense than the general plan allows. As staff noted, this is a 20% increase in the natural area open space or preserved desert on this site. The scenic corridor and trail along Happy Valley are in a tract. They are not easements across somebody's yard. They are in fact dedicated tracts that the HOA will be required to maintain and will have liability for. This project has 23 letters and signatures of support in your packet, and that next bullet point, it says phase 2. That should actually be phase 1. Phase 1 was unanimously approved by the City Council back in 2018, and as staff noted, the Planning Commission did unanimously recommend approval. Vice Mayor Whitehead, members of the council, I'm happy to answer any additional questions you may have. I had a much longer presentation, but again, happy to hit the highlights and answer any additional questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Colleagues, any questions or comments?
Yes, Vice Mayor Kathy Littlefield. I just have a concern. It's not particularly on Solitude, but it's a concern for what we have been doing over the past year or two in general by rezoning and then subdividing so many of our large lots in the north of Scottsdale, like this one before us tonight. We will, by this action and by the actions that we have been taking and will take, be driving out the equestrians, and will be destroying much more of the unique character and charm that people come to North Scottsdale to find. It can never be replaced, those large lots. More sub-1 acre lots are neither unique, nor do they add an equivalent economic benefit to the city. So I see this as a question before us of, is the reduction of this kind of special uniqueness and character worth it to Scottsdale over the long term? I don't believe it is. I think we lose more than we gain. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, Councilwoman Littlefield. Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, I hear none, so I will add a few items. Are there any remaining equestrian lots in, and I concur, but in this particular area, I see this project as a fit for what already exists. And I'm not aware of that close to Pima, if there are any remaining equestrian other than closer possibly to Pinnacle Peak. Mr. Berry or staff?
Vice Mayor Whitehead, members of the council, John Berry, I'm not aware of any equestrian facilities in this area south of Happy Valley over to Pima on the west. I'm not sure there's any even down to Pinnacle Peak, but that's just my recollection from looking at aerials in the area. The large lots that do occur in the area tend to be very large lots with very expensive homes that do not have equestrian facilities. These will be large lots with only very expensive as opposed to very, very expensive homes on them.
Okay, thank you. And I will say that I had a concern, and both staff and the applicant responded. There is an unofficial path that runs from Happy Valley all the way through to Pinnacle Peak, and I did not want that access to be blocked because we like to have pedestrians, whether it's equestrian, bicycles, or people walking, and that will be preserved with this project. So there'll continue to be an access without going to Pima Road. With that, I will entertain a motion.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
This is Megan. I apologize for interrupting. I just wanted to alert you we do have a hand raised by Councilwoman Milhaven.
Okay, great. Councilwoman Milhaven.
Thank you very much. And I agree with the comments about this is entirely consistent with what is surrounding it. And I also agree in the desire to preserve as much of our equestrian culture as we can. But I'm not sure that this is the place for that with the surrounding, Mr. Berry said, very, very expensive homes. And so I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to adopt ordinance number 4477 and adopt resolution 11965.
And I second that motion. This is Virginia Cordy.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. I will turn it over to our city clerk, Carolyn Jagger, for a roll call vote.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Whitehead?
Yes.
Councilwoman Clapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Cordy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Littlefield?
No.
Councilwoman Milhaven?
Yes.
And Councilman Phillips?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1 with Councilwoman Littlefield dissenting. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.